Question 5E. I love question 5E. If you get this on the Regents, this should be a gift to you. This should be Point City right now. It tells you what to do, gives you an equation, and you got the formula. 5E says, using the quadratic formula, solve 3x squared minus 2x minus 6 equals 0 for all values of x. Don't worry about decimals. They kind of tell you they're coming. Round your nearest answers to the nearest hundredth. So hundredth would be 2 places, okay? Just a reminder. So real quick, for hundredth, that's 2 place values. So decimal point, blank, blank. Now it tells me to use the quadratic formula. The second they say using the quadratic formula, or with the quadratic formula, or if you use the quadratic formula, you should write it down. And you're given it. If you look at your reference sheet, look right here. This is the reference sheet you're given on the Regents. X equals negative b. Look at that hot mess. You don't have to memorize a lick of anything. I want that to go away. You don't have to memorize anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep flipping on my paper. I'm going to copy and paste that formula in as I see it, and then I'm going to use it. Now, I have it memorized, so I'm just going to write it. So if you were, though, taking the Regents, you would quickly go x equals negative b plus minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over, and that fraction line stops at the equal sign, but it does include the negative b, all over 2a. Now, this formula is full of a's and b's and c's, so I have to take the equation they gave me, and I need to list out the a, b, and c very quickly. Now, it's worth it. You're taking the Regents. This is game day. This is like make or break. This might be the last time you have to do the quadratic formula in your life, maybe. So might as well commit to it, do it right. Let's list it all out. So a equals b equals c equals. A is always attached to x squared. This should be a review, remember? A is attached to x squared, so find x squared in the formula. There he is in that piece, and the coefficient in that piece is 3. Positive 3, okay? B is attached to plane x. There he is. It's negative 2. Not a very good 2, but it is. And then C is the constant at the end. The constant at the end is negative 6. Here's your 3 players. A is 3, B is negative 2, C is negative 6. The next line down, I'm going to rewrite the formula again, and everywhere I have a letter, I'm going to leave open parentheses, and I'm going to plug it in. X equals negative parentheses. Plus minus square root. Parentheses squared minus 4, parenthesis, parenthesis. Extend it a little bit. Okay? Plug in. First blank is b. B is negative 2, so I end up with negative 2. Plus minus square root sign, parentheses squared. Well, b is negative 2 again. We said that. For AC, A is 3. C is negative 6. All over 2A, A is 3. Transplanted, the rest of this question is just a cleanup calculator type procedure, okay? So I'm actually going to run out of room, so I'm going to go over here. And this is going to get a lot more concise. So x equals, I'm going to draw a smaller fraction sign, plus minus, and a regular square root sign. Extend a little bit. Okay, cleanup time. We're going to clean up 3 neighborhoods. We're going to clean up the outside using our brain and pencil, clean up the bottom using our brain and pencil, and we're going to clean up inside the square root sign using just our calculator. The square root sign is just going to travel with us. So negative 2. What do 2 negatives make? Positive. So that negative 2 becomes regular positive 2 in the front. Bottom, you know what 2 times 3 is. What's 2 times 3? 6. And then inside the house, that box, that yellow box, that goes in the calculator just like you see it without the square root sign. See the square root sign? I wrote it down. It's not going in the calculator. It's coming with me on the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my calculator and type in. I'm going to use my book so I don't have to keep toggling here. Whoa, I'm still on the last question. So from the main menu of the calculator, I'm going to type in parenthesis, negative 2, parenthesis squared, regular minus button, 4, parenthesis, 3, parenthesis, negative 6. Without the square root sign, you should get 76. Okay? Back to your paper. Inside the square root sign, you're going to put that 76 you just got. Now, depending on the teacher you have for algebra, it might vary how we simplify this. I'm going to do it the way I taught it, and it's a perfectly fine way, the best way. This is how I would solve it. At this point, once you have your three numbers, we're going to draw two branches. My students, you should remember this. Two branches. One branch is going to be the plus version of that fraction tower, and the other branch is going to be the minus version of that fraction tower. I like to do the plus version first because, I don't know, positives seem a little bit less intimidating. So x equals 2 plus square root of 76 all over 6. And I like to write them both because I'm kind of in that mode. So, and then the other one's going to be x equals positive 2 minus square root of 76 all over 6. So it's literally that fraction tower, just one's the plus, one's the minus, and then it's a calculator dance from there. I'm going to move me, whoa, I'm going to move me up there for a minute. I'm going to do the last part in red. So x equals for that one, x equals for that one. Now, grabbing your calculator, we're going to do two. I'm going to do the 2 plus first. So it's a big fraction, so you got to know the fraction buttons. It's alpha x for you guys, or if you're on another calculator, alpha y equals enter. Also works universally. And I'm going to type in 2 plus square root 76, go downstairs, all over 6. Whole darn thing. Enter. 1.7862999648. I have to round it, and because I'm not going to write that whole thing. When I round it, I go back to my paper. Where's my paper? There's my paper. Up in purple. Round it to 2 places. 2 places for both of them. So for the plus version, rounding it to 2 places. 1.78. Pause. Does the 8 grow up into a 9 or stay as an 8? Look after it. It's a 6. That 6 is strong. It makes that 8 turn into a 9. So my first answer is 1.79. I'm running out of room. Whoa. I might have to go off here. There's one. 1.79. And the other one for the minus, I can take a shortcut. I'm going to click the up arrow twice to highlight it. Enter to copy and paste it. And then I'm just going to use the arrow keys to go over that plus sign. And I'm going to transform that into a minus sign. Enter. Or you can type it in again. Negative 1.11 rounded to the nearest hundredth, 2 places. So negative 1.11. Pause. After the 1 comes a 9. Does that 9 make the 1 go into a 2 or stay as a 1? Grow into a 2. So negative 1.12 is the other one. Okay. Now, I'm going to go down here for a minute. Looks like a lot of work. Not bad at all. It's literally just a formula. What's your A, B, and C, and then clean up the whole way through. As far as like rigorous and graphing and plotting, it was none of that. Just plug it in, and you got to know how to round. So hundredth is 2 places, thousandth is 10 places, tenth is 1 place. You got to know that stuff. It has to do with the number of zeros. So the number 100 has 2 zeros. So you're on 2 places. The number 1,000 has 3 zeros. So thousandths would be 3 places. So the word has to do with the number of zeros in the actual number that it comes from. Okay? That's the question. Good luck on that one.